In the quiet town of Umo, nestled between rolling hills and vast fields, there lived a young woman named Her beauty was unmatched, drawing admirers from far and wide. Men traveled great distances just to see her, to try their luck at winning her heart. Her glowing skin, radiant smile, and kind eyes made her the talk of the town. But no matter how many suitors came forward, never said yes. She spent time with them, only to send them away when she was done. It wasn't because she didn't want love. No, carried a secret so heavy that she couldn't share it with anyone except her two closest friends, Uso and Ken. Since she was 15, had felt an uncontrollable fire inside her, a restlessness that no one could understand. It burned within her, making her crave the company of men. Not just one but many, sometimes as many as 10 in a single day. She had sought help, visiting healers, doctors, and even spiritual leaders, but no one could cure her. She had tried to resist, to fight the overwhelming urge, but it was stronger than her. By the time she turned 25, her condition had worsened. She had lost count of the number of men she had been with. It was never about love or desire. It was a compulsion she couldn't control. Deep down she was ashamed. She had even paid men to be with her, just to ease the burning inside. Every night she would cry herself to sleep, wondering why she was cursed with this burden. Her parents, unaware of her secret, constantly pressured her to settle down. You are so beautiful, they would say. Why don't you find a good man and get married? But how could she? How could she tell them that one man would never be enough? How could she marry, knowing she would never be able to remain faithful? One fateful day, while leaving a small cafe, accidentally bumped into a young man named Chima. He was different from the others, kind, gentle, and understanding. For the first time in her life, she felt something else besides desire. She felt warmth, a flutter in her heart that she had never known before. When he offered her a ride home, she found herself agreeing without hesitation. That night, she couldn't stop thinking about him. For the first time she felt hope. Hope that maybe, just maybe, Chima could be the one to make the fire go away. As days turned into weeks, and Chima grew closer. He made her laugh, made her feel safe. And soon, he confessed his love for her. Was overjoyed. For the first time, she allowed herself to believe in a normal life. Perhaps love would be the cure she so desperately sought. But the fire did not disappear. Even though she loved Chima deeply, the burning desire inside her remained. She tried to hide it, but soon she found herself sneaking away to be with other men. The guilt was unbearable, eating away at her every time she returned to Chima. She wanted to be faithful, but the compulsion was too strong. One evening, Chima surprised her with a proposal. He got down on one knee and asked, "Will you marry me?" Tears filled eyes as she said yes. She ran to tell her best friends Uso and Ken about the engagement. They met at their usual spot, where she proudly showed off her engagement ring. Uso and Ken cheered, hugging her tightly and celebrating her happiness. But inside Ken felt something dark, jealousy. For years she had lived in shadow, struggling to find love herself. She couldn't understand how someone with such a terrible secret could have everything, while she had nothing. The bitterness inside her grew until it became unbearable. And so, she came up with a plan to ruin wedding. The big day arrived, and the wedding hall was beautifully decorated. Friends and family gathered, eager to witness the union of and Chima. The couple stood at the altar, ready to exchange their vows, when suddenly, the large screen in the hall flickered to life. At first, everyone thought it was a video of the couple's journey together, a sweet surprise for the bride and groom. But then the images changed. Gasps filled the room as the guests realized what they were watching. Video recordings of with different men. The sounds of their voices filled the air, undeniable proof of her secret life. Chima's face turned pale. He stood frozen, unable to process what he was seeing. The room was filled with murmurs and whispers, the weight of judgment crashing down on She turned to Chima, tears streaming down her face. "Please let me explain," she whispered. But he said nothing. He simply turned and walked out of the hall. Ran after him, crying and begging him to listen. But it was too late. Chima drove away, leaving her behind, broken, humiliated, and alone. Uso quickly rushed to side, helping her into a car and driving her home. Sobbed uncontrollably, unable to believe how her life had unraveled in mere moments. She knew her secret would destroy her one day, but she never imagined it would happen like this. Days passed in a blur of pain and regret. Longed for Chima, but she knew the truth was too much for him to bear. She could no longer live with her secret. She needed real help. As for the video, only one person could have done it, Ken. The friend she had trusted with her deepest secret had betrayed her in the worst way possible. Ken had secretly recorded and exposed her, all because of jealousy. And yet, never suspected her. She still treated Ken as a sister, unaware of the betrayal. But Ken wasn't done yet. She wanted Chima for herself. If couldn't have him, why shouldn't she? She tried to get close to him to win his heart. But Chima wasn't interested. He wanted nothing to do with anyone connected to Meanwhile, made a decision that would change her life forever. She sought professional help, finding a doctor who specialized in her condition. Slowly, through therapy and treatment, she began to heal. It wasn't easy, but she knew she had to fight for herself. Then, one day, after months of hard work, she received a letter. It was from Chima. In it, he wrote that while he had been deeply hurt, he still cared about her. He admitted that he had come to understand that her condition wasn't her fault. It was a medical issue. He included his phone number, asking her to call him if she wanted to talk. With trembling hands, dialed the number. When Chima answered, they spoke for hours, rekindling their connection. He told her that he wanted to support her through her healing journey, that he still saw the woman he had fallen in love with. Slowly, they rebuilt their relationship. As for Ken, she eventually realized the depth of her betrayal. She saw that she had only brought pain, not happiness. One day she came to tears in her eyes, begging for forgiveness. With her kind heart, forgave her. But their friendship could never be the same again. In time, and Chima got married. Her best friend Uso stood beside her as her chief bridesmaid, and the wedding was filled with love and joy. Journey had been painful, but in the end she found healing, love, and peace. The moral of this story is simple. Secrets, no matter how well hidden, always find a way to come out. It is important to seek help and be honest with ourselves before it is too late. True healing comes from facing the truth, no matter how painful it may be. And finally, we must be mindful of the people we call friends. Not everyone who smiles with us has our best interests at heart. Sometimes, the only person we can truly trust is ourselves.